Hi, Danville. Alan Shields here, Chief of Police for the town of Danville, and we are tenant in service, which means we're here to make people's lives better, and we do that by safeguarding the lives, rights, and property of the people we serve. All right, so we're here. We're seeing an uptick in crime, and I'll tell you historically what we see is between, like, I think we skated the first 2 weeks of November because usually it's almost spot on. November 1st through mid to late January. Sometimes it trickles into February. We see an uptick in thefts. We see an uptick in residential burglaries. And so we really make a push to try to get the information out there to be aware that there is typically an increase in crime. So if you noticed last week on the show, we talked about the increase in crime. There's an increase in crime this week. A lot of it is more of the petty crime, thefts from vehicles, the shoplifting and that sort of thing, but it's still something to be aware of. And we really want to hammer home the, protect your house part. All right, download the Wildfire Preparedness Guide, the FEMA All Hazards Guide. Make sure you sign up for the Community Warning System and check out PG&E's website. PG&E's website's got a lot of good information there. For crime, you can always go to communitycrimeapp.com and you can get information. Remember, this is a live show, so if you have any questions, we're on Facebook and YouTube. You can check us out on either one. Ask your questions live during the show. If I get to it during the show, I will answer. If not, I'll research it and I'll get it to you afterwards in the chat. All right, communitycrimeapp.com. This is where you get all the information. You can set alerts to go right to your phone. You can also look up sexual offender registry information there as well. All right, not great on the accidents, and then the numbers on the right are a little off, but we had 4 collisions. On the 13th, this is the one that's probably the most concerning. It was a 3-car rear end injury collision on Camino Ramon and Sycamore Valley Road. And this is one car hitting another and pushing that car into a third. On the 14th, there was a hit and run. This was a car into a tree, and then the driver fled on foot. We're working leads on that case to see if we can solve it. On the 15th, we had 2. This is kind of unusual. Or I'm sorry, the next one is. The 15th, we had 2 vehicle injury collision on the 600 block of Thornhill Road. And on the 17th, this is the unusual one. We had 2 bicycles, and these aren't kids on bikes. These are cyclists. 2 bicycles that collided with each other on Diablo Road near Matadero Way. One of the cyclists was injured and transported to the hospital as a precaution. All right, so not good on the accidents. These are legitimate accidents. If you notice, some weeks it's a couple of parking lot crashes and that sort of thing. Usually when we see rear enders, and if you remember, I think it was 3 or 4 weeks ago, there was like 2 or 3 of them on that sheet. And that tells us that people are probably, just assuming, that people are probably not paying attention. They're distracted in some way, and we know that typically it's the phone. And I'll say I usually walk or ride my bike to work, and so I have a pretty good look into people's cars. But even today, I'm driving up to Martinez, and I just said, I want to see how many cars between Danville and Martinez can I count where someone is visibly on their phone. And I was unfortunately not in a marked police car, but as I went by, I think I counted like 15 different people. And you have to remember, I'm going with the flow of traffic. So it's not like I'm going really slow and there's a lot of cars passing me, or vice versa, I'm going fast. So this is just within the flow of traffic, that many people. Unreal. And they're just absolutely not paying attention. So I'm telling you that anecdote because I want you to pass along to people. Please put the phone down and know that the direction I'm giving our officers, when I see things like rear end collisions, and then I can see with my own eyes that there are people that are looking into their phones like this, you can guarantee I'm telling the officers to go out there and do enforcement. That doesn't mean there's a quota. That doesn't mean they have to write a certain number of tickets, but I'm telling them we need to look for these violations. And the reason is we want to change that behavior. We know if you're distracted, you're going to cause an accident. And so what we do when we look for citations is we look for those behaviors where they are most likely to cause a collision, and we attack those violations in those areas where we know collisions are occurring. All right, let's look at crime. A little bit off on the numbers here too. On the 12th, we could have wiped a couple, and there's going to be 2 slides of crime. That's how much crime we had. On the 12th, we had a theft of property from an unlocked car on Westwich Street. And then 2 unlocked vehicles had items stolen from them on Panorama Way, and another one on Windchime. And those all seem to be related. We have some video, really good person there on Windchime had a camera and was able to give us some information on that. On the 13th, we had 2 unknown juveniles that set fire to a dumpster. And this was at an apartment complex on the 300 block of Diablo Road. They have yet to be identified. On the 13th, we had a theft of alcohol from Bevmo on Diablo Road. And then on the 14th, a bicycle was stolen from an apartment complex on Diablo Road. And they're not in sequential order, but they're different than the thefts. On the 11th, we had a suspect who broke into a Connex box, so that technically is a burglary. If you remember from last week, the definition of a burglary is breaking into any structure with the intent to commit a theft or any felony, and took landscaping equipment and a vehicle that was parked nearby at 1000 Sherburne Hills Road, and that took place at 5:30 a.m. per the video. On the 14th, a man was arrested for stealing alcohol from the Smart and Final on Diablo Road. And then for the arrest, we actually arrested a minor, and that was the theft of alcohol and for being a minor in possession. So not great with the crime. And here's what I'll say is, when I look through the crime, I try to identify trends and provide tips to all of you. And again, we should be able to leave what we want where we want. We should be able to go where we want, walk where we want. It is not our fault. We do not drive crime. Suspects drive crime, right? The motivated offender. If you remember the crime triangle, we talk about the motivated offender, the target, and the location. The location is Danville. The location is your driveway. The location is a park, wherever that crime happens to occur. The target is the property. That is the thing. Those two are the things we have most control over. And what I'll say for this last week, when we have property that are taken from unlocked cars, it tells me that people are leaving property in their cars. And I'll tell you, I've done this before. Shame on me. I actually left my iPad underneath the seat of my truck while I was in shopping one day, and I totally forgot about it. Usually I'll put it in my backpack, and you'll see me going through the store with my backpack. We have to stop leaving stuff in plain sight. If people know that Danville is known for leaving things in plain sight, those same shoppers, those criminals, they'll keep coming back for more. So my encouragement is to not do that. Switching gears, e-bikes, scooters, motorcycles, which are often confused for e-bikes. We actually have a bike advisory commission, and they're doing pretty fantastic work, specifically though in the area with helping us with a video. There have been a project for the Danville Police Department where we wanted to put small videos together, 20, 30-second videos to kind of illustrate a point and try to reach more people with some of the information. Well, we were able to do that with our bike advisory commission, and we actually did it with the help of, trying to get the video here, with the help of some of our San Ramon Valley High School students. One of them, Contra, is actually on the bike advisory commission. We gave him the project and the script, and I'm going to play for you what they actually produced. You might have already seen it on Facebook, but this video is absolutely fantastic. So let's check it out.
Can you believe it? Over 750 watts? Oh, hey. If you're like me, you've probably noticed more electric bikes, scooters, and motorcycles around town. Well, there's some new important regulations that you might need to know. E-bikes are great, but if your e-bike goes over 20 miles per hour without pedaling or has a motor that has over 750 watts, that is now legally considered a motorcycle, and you need a license and registration for it. Looks like some of you might need to learn how to pedal.
This may be shocking for some, but in regards to electric scooters, no matter what, you need a license or permit to ride. As well as if you're under 18, a helmet is required, and you cannot ride on sidewalks.
In regards to mopeds, you must wear a DOT-approved helmet, as have valid registration and a license. For dirt bikes, you not only need a DOT-approved helmet, but you need motorcycle registration and a motorcycle license. And you'd be surprised how much this happens, but you cannot ride a dirt bike on any public roads. As for the Iron Horse Trail, Class 1 and Class 2 e-bikes are allowed, as long as you're going under 15 miles per hour. Thanks for watching.
That's pretty awesome, right? Let me know what you think. Say something in the comments there. Those are local kids doing local good. A lot of times we get criticism and we'll hear, and I think it's misplaced, but what'll happen is, 1, 2, maybe 3 kids will do something that the observer feels is inappropriate or wrong. And then they brand all kids, kids these days sort of thing. And, follow on with whatever the story is. And I'm telling you, I see example after example of kids in this community just knocking out of the park like these San Ramon Valley High kids did. They do an excellent job. And frankly, they're the future us, right? So we want to cultivate what we want to see in them. So we want them to do really, really well. So kudos to our bike commission, and kudos to Connor, our liaison with the San Ramon Valley High School, for putting all that together. All right, I'm looking at the chat. I don't see any questions. And so if you have questions, go ahead and throw them in the chat. Be happy to answer them. But I want to remind everybody to download the FEMA All Hazards Guide, the Wildfire Preparedness and Evacuation Guide. Jump on our community warning system. Make sure you sign up. And go to the PG&E website. We're starting to get some notices from PG&E about PSs and that sort of thing. And hopefully with some rain, we'll kind of be out of that mode. But it's always good to be prepared. All right. With that, Danville, we're off duty. We're 10:10, but we're always in service to you. Have a good night, Danville.